Today we read from Luke chapter 7, 1 through 10. When Jesus had finished saying all this in the hearing of the people, he entered Capernaum. There a centurion's servant, whom his master valued highly, was sick and was about to die. The centurion heard of Jesus and sent some elders of the Jews to him, asking him to come and heal his servant. When they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly with him, "This man deserves to have his servant help. He loves our nation and has built our synagogue." So Jesus went with them. He was not far from the house when the centurion sent friends to him to say, "Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. That is why I did not even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority with soldiers under me. I tell this one, go, and he goes, and that one, come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him and turned to the crowd following him and said, "I tell you, I have not found such great faith even in Israel." Then the men who had been sent returned to the house and found the servant well. This is the reading of the word. Thanks, Lord. I don't know about you all, but I like rules. I do. I was one of those kids where I think I remember cognitively getting spanked like once or twice. And yes, my parents spanked me. But I would see what my sisters would do, and I would see the trouble that they would get in, and I somehow logicked it out in my brain. What's the point? I didn't go through that high school rebellion, teenage rebellion. I don't think I hit a rebellious period until I was in college, at which point I just said, eh. And it wasn't much, I promise. I was a goody two-shoes. Who hated those kind of people? Because some of us just struggle against rules. We struggle when someone says, do this, because our automatic reaction is to do that. The concept devil's advocate was made for some people. And they like to do it just to be honoring. I don't necessarily have a problem with them either. I just wonder in the world today if we have perhaps gotten to where rules are only guidelines instead of rules. They become guidelines somehow. Somewhere along the way, the rules of the world have turned into guidelines because, of course, those rules do not apply to me. I'm the exception to the rule. Right? Shouldn't I be? I mean, I have an above average IQ. I'm a female in ministry. I'm a mother to almost 4. I've only had one ticket my entire life, and that was not my fault. I'm the exception, right? No. But I think that too often in our society and in our world, we see, or we ourselves think, well, hold on, wait. I'm go really, really fast, so why would I use my turn signal? Please use turn signals, people. If you can use a cell phone, you can use a turn signal. But isn't it the truth? We live in a world today where rules are not the absolute thing. And we wonder why we struggle with children that don't know how to follow them. Because we're bad at it. We make arbitrary decisions based on the rules that we've been given in this life. And we say, I don't quite agree with what you're saying. Could you maybe adjust it just a little bit so it'll fit better to what I need? We do that whether we do it consciously or unconsciously. It's part of our psyche. It's part of our understanding. It's part of what we've grown up with in society. It's part of our world. And yet we read stories such as this. We read this story from Luke 7. You can also find it in Matthew 8:5. The biggest difference is in Matthew, the centurion himself approaches Jesus. He doesn't send servants or friends. He himself goes to Jesus. And I don't know if that offers a little bit different distinction or not. But we're reading from Luke 7, and we know that the centurion has sent his servants to Christ. And I think that this story makes it more poignant because he's saying, I say go, they go. I say do, they do. But then Jesus throws the ringer out. And he tells the centurion's servants, the crowd at large, that I have not found such great faith even in Israel. How many commands and rules does Christ actually give us? 2. He takes the 10 Commandments and whittles them down to 2. And yet still we struggle to follow those rules. Christ says, love the Lord your God. You all know this one, right? Please tell me you know this one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, body, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's it. And yet, we, for some reason, cannot follow those rules. We like to make distinctions, or codify them, or say, okay, hold on, wait. Body, soul, heart, and mind, is that only on Sunday morning between the hours of 10:30 and 11:30, or maybe a little after, maybe a little bit before, if I make it Sunday school Bible study at 9, maybe from 9 to noon. Is that what that rule means? Or love your neighbor. Well, only if my neighbor lives in the house right beside me. And only if they're nice and return the tools that they borrowed. Or their kids don't play loud music, driving up and down the street like crazy people. Because they're certainly not following that 20 mile an hour in the neighborhood rule. I read this passage and I see such faith. Because Jesus doesn't tell us, oh, maybe this person, maybe not, maybe here, maybe there. And maybe that's part of our struggle with rules in general, is that they're not specific enough. If they were laid out on the binary, so we could know, well, this counts, and this does not. Maybe that would help us as people of God to be better Christians, to be more universal Christians, to be more unified as Christians. Because isn't that what we strive for? Unity, the body of Christ, the acceptance of all. And yet we like to define what that means to such an nth degree that we limit ourselves to just following the command. We like to question the rules. And instead of commanding it so it shall be done, we say, well, when? Because today's not a good day for me. I've got dinner with the family. And tomorrow my plan is to go to the beach, maybe. How often in our faith lives do we give that answer to Christ? Instead of trusting that what Christ says and does is the correct thing at this moment in time, how often do we say, hold on, Jesus, I don't quite believe in you. Maybe not right now. The centurion, my friends, is not a Jew. The centurion in the Roman army, although there were also centurions in the Roman Navy once that expanded, but we're talking mainly the Roman militia army deal, and I was never in the military, so forgive me. But the centurion was an overseer, someone of high rank, relatively high rank within the Roman army. And of course, the people of Rome did not believe in God. They believed in multiple gods, the religions of Rome. Whatever the emperor said goes, and they looked to the emperor as the highest power and the voice of God on earth. But this centurion had obviously built up a relationship with the Jewish population from which he was part and parcel of overseeing, and had enough faith in what they did and what they saw to put trust in whom they believed in. He did not understand it. He did not believe it necessarily himself, and yet he knew enough about the following of orders, the following of the rules, the following of commands, that he believed it would be done. That is great faith, even in something not understood fully. And perhaps that is the other part of our problem. We want to understand it so fully that we do not trust it enough. We want to know all the ins and outs, and that we forget there's a mystery to God and a mystery to Christ and a mystery that we cannot comprehend. Think of our lives as people of God. Do we truly look to Christ and say, "Command it, Lord, and it shall be done"? even if it is me. I think that's part of the struggle. You see, we hear those words and we think that they're for others. We can see so easily in others' lives, oh gosh, Almighty Lord is with them. They are joining, they are being called, they are following after Jesus. But when the command comes to you or I, how often is our response, command it and it shall be done? It's a simple rule. It's a simple reckoning of our faith, a reconciling of our lives within our faith lives. Command it, Lord, and it shall be done. I don't know how. I don't precisely know how well. But I have enough faith